Oh, yeah. I'm all right. Good evening. Okay. Good evening. Tonight, we're going to have a guest from Aptera. He's going to tell all about his company and his product line, service line. And we've got some kind of prize, you say? You'll do a little drawing, an Aptera card. Oh, okay. So there's coffee down the road if you need to get any. So just wanted to just welcome you all tonight. And without further ado, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Hi, my name is Danny Hermosillo, and I am a brand ambassador for Aptera US. I was told to keep it short, so that's why you can't really see me. Messed up my best line. Jeez. I am not an employee of Aptera, and I am not a technical genius as most of you guys here. I'm just an enthusiast, and I'm somebody who saw the Aptera about a year and a half or so ago. I was actually looking for a three-wheel vehicle and came across this, and then was just so impressed with the possibility of having a solar-powered vehicle. And especially like right now, with the way gas prices are, a solar-powered vehicle sounds very nice. Now, I understand, is Kevin here tonight? No, okay, so I understand one of our other brand ambassadors, Kevin Douglas, is also a member here and made a presentation before. So how many of you have heard about Aptera before? Okay, so a good chunk of you. So I don't really want to go over the basics again because you have a pretty good knowledge. But essentially, it's a solar-powered vehicle. It's designed to charge itself up to 40 miles a day, especially in the Houston sun. That should not be an issue. And then it has up to 1,000-mile range. And how does it get that? It has different size batteries, a 200-mile size battery, a 400, a 600, and 1,000. And as you can tell by, and I'll show you here, and of course in a second, the aerodynamic design is the key to it because it's not wasting energy propelling the vehicle down the road. It's meeting very little wind resistance. Now, I know there's also been some questions raised about the solar panels. Are they going to achieve that? Like I said, I'm not a techie, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to let some of the techies talk about it here in a sec. So since you guys are more technically minded, I'm going to show you a little video, and I'm going to stop midway through because there's another a YouTube video that I found that I think will answer those questions that you asked a little bit more than I did. So if you guys are ready, we can go ahead and start with this short video. Ready? Sure. Okay. And it should be the middle, yeah, the media player. Oh, the second one.
We live in a world obsessed with expansion and exploration, endlessly searching for answers out there. What if the answer isn't just in the stars? What if infinite possibilities are the ones we've yet to think of? What if the same innovation that helps us out there can also help us here on Earth? Our responsibility is here to this planet to create a better tomorrow for future generations. As the world's first never-charged solar electric vehicle, Aptera offers a 1,000-mile range with over 40 miles a day of free solar charging. If 1 out of every 20 vehicles on the road were replaced with an Aptera, Americans would save 18 million gallons of gasoline every day, or 6 billion gallons per year. Each Aptera owner can reduce their carbon footprint by over 14,000 pounds of CO2 per year. That's what 884 25-year-old pine trees can absorb in a year. Imagine a world where technology gives more than it takes. Imagine beyond the stars.
Hey Aptera fans, it's Chris. I'm at our beautiful new production facility here in sunny Carlsbad, California. Construction has been coming along nicely and we'll be moving into this facility over the next couple months. Pablo, our brilliant VP of production, has been back in Detroit and in several other places acquiring the manufacturing equipment that will fill this facility over the next 6 months as we press to keep to our schedule to deliver vehicles by the end of this year. As we near production, we're refining and locking down many components of the Aptera design. Our solar team has been making amazing progress. We've finally built our first full production run of panels for the vehicle, and we're going through testing and validation for the production processes now. If you've been following our social media, you've seen refinements to our interior that have been just amazing. And our head of design, Jason Hill, can share a little more about that.
Hi everyone, Jason Hill here, Aptera's Chief of Design. I'm going to talk a little bit today about beta interior design and also what that means for our production. Beta's matured to a point where we have a module that we're testing all the reach zones out. We're proving out our ergonomic choices. We look forward to validating all the choices that have been made, including color, material, and finish, which means all your fabrics, all your colors, all your choices, and then maturing those to production level and production intent release. So a couple key things that we've done is we've created a vision assist system, which is now the screen in front of the yoke steering wheel. So that what that screen is going to do is provide an extra level in conjunction with your side legal requirement mirrors. And we're going to have a video feed that'll be in front of you. And we're proving that out in both daylight conditions and nighttime conditions. The material finishes, we're still selecting for the exact material between more of the leather type product or the vinyl type product or the fabric type product, but we're going to have a healthy mix. Each material is going to be automotive grade to the right level for durability. And we've got a really good path forward to evolve this interior as we move to production. At Aptera, we've invested a lot of time understanding the merits of using a half wheel or yoke style steering wheel. Our efforts have resulted in a gateway decision which will uphold and expand the Aptera ethos of efficiency and user experience. So this brings us a level of confidence in the result, and we look forward to having all of our users enjoy this feature without finding any trade-offs. In fact, that experience is elevated beyond the steering wheel. One of the things we've done in beta is we're working with our manufacturing partners and advisors on design for manufacturing. So our methodology is proven out so we can quickly get from our concept stage, which you'll see in the beta, to the production intent interiors through the work of both internal and our manufacturing partners. Everyone can expect to see a production intent, real life interior by the middle of this summer.
And as we close out Q1 of 2022, we've made beta street legal so our engineers can take it out on the road and experience more real driving situations. We've been amazed with beta's performance in real world situations and on the track. The acceleration is exhilarating and the performance handling characteristics are just amazing. It's a huge compliment to our suspension development team, how far we've come. And again, we want to thank all those that have joined to support our solar mobility movement. If you want to experience Aptera, subscribe to our newsletter or follow our social media channels. Thanks.
Today we're testing vehicle dynamics and handling. We're comparing our model against what we can measure in real life. The primary things we're trying to understand today are the pitch gradient and the roll gradient of the car. So how does it respond when you step on the brakes or when you accelerate? And how does it respond when you're going through a corner experiencing lateral G's?
So as you can tell, beta is stripped down to the bare essential components. This was done so that we could test exactly what we wanted to test with the vehicle dynamics properties compared to alphas where they had all of the cosmetic features as a real vehicle would have.
We've done a multitude of tests, including some cornering tests, going from slower to faster and faster speeds. Aptera's been handling great. We're collecting lots of data, and we're going to be able to correlate that to our simulations. And that way, we can really move forward very quickly with making tweaks in the computer, and then we can apply them in real life and end up with a much better vehicle much faster.
The testing for beta is so important because it helps us to validate our model that we've been analyzing it in atoms for months now, yet we've not been able to put it into practice and actually feel the car and what the simulation says it should do versus what it's actually doing. So this is extremely important for us because we have this model that we're building our next vehicle off of as well, and we need to validate it to ensure that it's actually performing like we expect it to.
So for acceleration, we are looking at the max power output of our vehicle. And then with braking, we are looking at how much the vehicle dives forward, so we can tune it for passenger comfort. And then with the high-speed stability, we want to make sure that at high speeds, our vehicle is as safe as possible. So with the ISO double lane change, that is also a safety test to make sure that whatever emergency maneuvers are necessary, the vehicle can handle.
We've seen massive improvements in our suspension and how the vehicle handles so far. The one thing we've noticed already is that the car is actually more stable in lateral corners, yet it has higher lateral grip than the previous cars had as well. So making step change improvements on the suspension is great.
You already know that Aptera gets up to 40 miles of free solar-powered driving per day. So today, we are going to talk science and explain how we get as much solar power as possible from our integrated solar package. It's no secret, Aptera has many solar cells exposed to the sun at once. But how do we get the most power output at all times? By calculating the maximum power point. See this example. The x-axis is voltage, and on the y-axis is current. Voltage multiplied by current gives us output power. In a solar application, we want output power to be as high as possible. The black line shows the output of a panel in ideal conditions. Current stays nearly the same as voltage increases, until a rapid drop-off where the solar cell can no longer produce any current. The red line shows the total power output. Voltage multiplied by current gives us output power, which is why it has a near linear increase until the sharp decline. At the intersection of peak current and voltage, we get the maximum power point, or MPP. At this point, our integrated solar package is producing the most power possible and being the most efficient. But let's talk about this principle in the real world. This easy to understand red line? It's more like this, and constantly changing around. Think about trees, buildings, and other vehicles on the road. Each of these produces shade. Not to mention, Aptera's curved body makes for an ever-changing amount of solar production. To make sure we get peak power as much as possible, even while Aptera is driving, we use advanced software algorithms to optimize output power. Our solar engineers are innovating every day to create the most robust solar product possible, and we're excited for you to experience the power of solar mobility firsthand. Solar. It's complicated, but worth it to provide over 11,000 miles of free driving per year.
Okay, so I'm going to pause that there because I know that was a lot of the questions that you guys had was on the solar panels themselves and how they work. So rather than going on with the rest of this, I do have another YouTube video. It's about 6 minutes long that kind of goes a little bit more in depth than that. Would you guys rather take a look at that? Okay. Let me see if we have to do anything different. Yeah.
Share that screen.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah. So what do I need to do to? You can minimize it, I guess.
Always bring up that one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, right here, stop share.
Yeah.
now. All right, thank you. It's up there? Okay, yeah. No, it's up there. Right.
Hello, everyone. It's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. On May 6th, 2022, Aptera on their TikTok channel released this video. Let's watch it together.
And then cooling. This is our solar panel test chamber. Right now it's heating the panels up to 85 degrees Celsius and then cooling them to negative 40 degrees Celsius over and over again. This lets us simulate decades of wear in a matter of months. This is our solar panel test.
Okay. So basically, if you look at this, I think this is in their new facility. This does not look like the beta development facility that I visited. Walls look too white and it's too tall and there's nothing on the sides of the wall. So this might be their production facility or another building. But they looks like fairly recently they bought this test chamber. If you look at the video
right now
more
it's
carefully, right here, it says April 30th, 2022. And they're doing a cycling test from negative 40 degrees Celsius to 85 degrees Celsius. That corresponds for people that use Fahrenheit to negative 40 Celsius is the same as negative 40 Fahrenheit. So that's the same. 85 degrees Celsius is actually 185 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is a good temperature range, and they're doing the cycling test. I looked up the various testing standards, and they are probably doing this testing standard, the IEC 61646 standard for thin film terrestrial photovoltaic nodules. What they have to do is temperature cycle from negative 40 to 85 degrees Celsius, which is exactly what they're doing for 50 to 200 cycles, and then a humidity freeze. So they're cycling this at 85% relative humidity for 10 cycles, and they do a damp heat where they keep it at 85, so they keep it at 185 degrees Fahrenheit or 85 degrees Celsius at 85% humidity for 1,000 hours. Here's the interesting thing to note about that. If you do this test, this 200 cycle test will take 25 days of nonstop testing. Then if you do this, the humidity freeze test, that's another 10 days, so that's 35 days. Then the damp heat test takes another 42 days to complete. So that is going to be 35 plus 42. That's 77 days. It's almost 2 full months of just testing with the thing running 24/7. I suspect that they just started this, so they are going to be testing this for the next 2 months. My guess is that they're testing several different encapsulation methods at the same time, because inside here they have racks to test multiple things, and you can see their preparations here. We know that they're using the Maxion solar panels, most likely the solar cells, but they're testing their various encapsulation methods and to see which one. And previously we saw hail damage testing setup. So they're doing all these longevity tests, which is really good. And it makes me very confident that they're making a very good product that's meant to last a long time. They're doing all the appropriate testing. However, I think that this tells us that everything has to work perfectly for them to deliver a product by the end of this year. So for example, let's say at the end of this 2 months testing that somehow none of their encapsulation methods work and they have to go back to the drawing board because all the encapsulation methods that they've tried failed. Well, then now they're 2 months behind. They have to retest everything. So their timeline, I believe, is contingent on everything kind of working the first time. So most likely they are being smart about it and working in parallel. So they may be testing, 20 different encapsulation methods at the same time. So they're testing it in parallel. And I think that makes it a very high chance that at least one of the 20 is going to work. And most likely multiple of the 20 are going to work. And then they'll pick the one that is the most cost efficient and manufacturing efficient to do. But in the off chance that none of the preparations of testing now work, now they are more than 2 months behind the curve. 2.5 months actually. 7 days is actually 2.5 months. So they're 2.5 months behind the curve. And this is probably similar with all the other engineering that they're doing. Their timeline, I believe, is contingent on everything kind of working the first go around. And that is a very aggressive timeline, and there's a little bit of luck attached to that. The good thing is they are doing pretty significant testing, and I looked up this UL 1703 standard. It's very similar. It's very similar to this testing protocol. There's some minor differences, but fairly similar. And this temperature range and humidity range is very robust testing. You know, most of us are not going to be working in negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit or 185 degrees Fahrenheit at 85% humidity for a prolonged period of time. So that does lead to some really robust testing. However, the timeline is very tight, and which is why I've been saying this whole time, I think it would be wonderful if they would deliver a vehicle by the end of this year, but I wouldn't be very surprised if that deadline gets pushed back a bit, and I wouldn't be worried if it's getting pushed back a bit. They are doing their due diligence and trying to deliver a very good, well-engineered product, and I'm okay with waiting for them missing a few deadlines to get that product rather than cutting corners and not doing the longevity testing. But just based on how long these take and when they started testing just a week or so ago, it's gonna be a very tight timeline. Tell me what you guys think. Do you agree, disagree? Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.
All right. So I hope that helps you out. That was actually posted just about a few days ago or so. So it's fairly current. Best that I can tell you though is that they are designing the solar cells and the arrangements from scratch. They're trying to create something to meet what they're promising. And you were asking me earlier about the wiring and the connectivity. Best also a recollection from a previous thing that Chris Anthony said was that it's designed to be wired in such a way that if one of your cells craps out, you can take that out and replace it with another cell, and it still continues working. So it's not contingent on if one of them goes, then you lose the entire grid. So that's my understanding on it. So again, I'm the layman on this, but I was fortunate enough in March, I was in San Diego for March Madness, and I was able to take a test ride in the alpha version, and it's gorgeous. It's wonderful. It flies, you know, not just only literally because of the aerodynamics, but because of the pickup and the speed is just really nice. As far as the production, the latest reports are that they are still scheduled to begin production at the end of this year for the first folks who ponied up first and signed up for it. So they'll be should be getting theirs by the end of this year. There are approximately 21,000 reservations right now so far. Also on my card, it's not a sales pitch or anything, but if you are interested in making a reservation, it's $100, but with that QR code, you can save $30 on it, and it is refundable. So if you decide you don't want it, fine, you can get that money back. But like I said, it's really becoming very popular. They're getting a lot of funding on it as well. And is it the Tesla beater? Probably not, but I think it will find a niche because of the solar panels itself. Again, I live in an apartment myself. I don't have any electrical connectivity, and I probably would have to scrounge around to find a charging station. But I know that in my workplace, there's plenty of sunshine while I'm at work, so that could easily charge the vehicle. And the one that I have picked out is the 400-mile range one, and I think that would runs with the features that I want on it about $30,000. The base is approximately $25,000, and fully loaded it's about $55,000, $56,000. So still price wise, it would be very competitive. And one of the clips that I took out did show that even though it's a two-seater, it has more cargo room than a Civic or a Prius. So, and a lot of people say, well, it's only a two-seater. Well, all two-seaters are not for everybody. I owned a Miata one time. I loved it. One of my favorite cars. Was it a family car? No. Was it fun for zipping around? Yes. So, but that's basically what I have. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Again, be gentle with me because I'm not a techie. I'm an enthusiast, but I'll do my best.
Okay, anybody have any questions? The burning question is, what is 40? Okay, you work out like 5 hours. You want to tell them? All right.
I'm sure.
It's okay.
I'm sure everybody in this room has the same question, which is, you say 40 miles and we want to know what that is in watt hours.
I think it's 100 watt hours.
Okay.
And it's because of the design. It has less energy needs to propel.
Yeah, that's the question. I mean, to pull that off, you have to have, everything has to be efficient and you have to collect a lot of energy. And
right. And then
that's the figure of merit that tells us how the trade-off works.
And the again, like I said, I know you are all pretty much well aware of it. So it has hub motors that are being tested, and they'll all come with the front wheel drive, which is the 2 front tires, or you can get the all-wheel drive, which is the 3 motors as well. But they all work independently, or in the all-wheel drive work together.
All right. So in that first video, when they were testing it on the circle track, the guy mentioned something. He said, we're going to use this car beta as the foundation of our next vehicle. Do you think he was talking about the production version, or do you think he was alluding to another car that they are thinking of developing after the Aptera?
I think it's more the production version, because so my understanding, and this may be old news to you guys, but there's various stages. So the alpha version is the concept come to life. The beta is the stripped down version where they're testing everything out. Next, I believe, is it the gamma version where they say, okay, now we're going to put everything in there. This is what we're hoping is actually going to be marketable. And they test out everything else more, and then they come out with the Delta version, which should be the final version. So I think that's what he's talking about, just getting everything fine-tuned in the beta version so they can move on to the gamma version of it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if this 2-seater car does well, maybe they could make a slightly bigger one.
Yes, and there are plans. Yes, there are plans, because obviously people have been asking, say, I love the idea, but I don't want a 2-wheel one. I can't fit my family on there. So there are already plans in the work for a 4 passenger vehicle, or 4 or 5, your standard sedan type of vehicle. But the idea is, yes, let's get the concept proved here. Let's get it out there, start getting more funding in, step up production, and then we'll move on to that next that phase. But yes, there is that is planned.
I've got a question. What's your target market, and about how much would this run per vehicle average cost?
Average cost, I would say $40,000. I mean, like I said, mine is a little bit above the base that I'm getting. It all depends on how many miles you want to get. If you want to drive 1,000 miles, it's going to cost you $55,000, $56,000. Still not bad compared to a Tesla or anything else that's out there right now. You're not getting all the full features that come with it, but range wise, you're getting that. But like, again, for myself, I look at it as I mainly drive from here to Corpus Christi, here to San Antonio. I'd like to do that in one good charge. And then I'd like to go out into the Southwest area and, go exploring a little bit. And so the 400-mile range for me, I think is great. There's even you guys might be familiar, there's a website out there that will chart out a trip for you, tell you where you can charge and how much it costs. And I planned it out with one of the Apteras, the model that I have. I'd need to make like 4 stops to refuel, or to recharge rather, and it would cost about $41 to make a trip.
Plugshare.com.
Yeah, exactly. So a trip from here to San Diego, because I want to go to San Diego, pick it up and drive it back. But yeah, it would cost about $41 in charging.
Speaking of charging, I think there was a rumor that they were going to use Tesla's plug.
that seems to be the way they're leaning. They haven't come out and said it, but even in some of the earlier videos, the plug that was used in the demo was a Tesla plug. So they are planning to do that. They are planning to have average household current. You can run it off of that as well. They are also adding input so you can attach an extra solar panel to it as well. So again, like in my instance, I live in an apartment complex and I have a metal carport. I've got nowhere to plug in, but if I can, like I said, I can charge plenty at work, but if I can have a couple of flexible solar panels on the top of my carport that'll charge it when I'm home on the weekend, that would be great as well. So, but yeah, I do think that eventually, especially since, you know, we've got this new plan that's going to create charging stations across the nation, you're going to end up with a universal input at some point. And Tesla's the most likely candidate for that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if they're thinking about putting a Tesla plug on there, then the whole push will be let us use superchargers.
Oh yeah, exactly. Anybody else?
Anybody other questions or?
Oh, no. Yes. 100. Yeah. You're correct. It's the 1,000-mile one. Essentially, they're in battery packs. And so to get the 1,000-mile range, it would be 4 battery packs. So 200-mile would be 1 pack, 400 miles would be 2 packs, 600 would be 3 packs, 1,000 would be the 4 packs, essentially. Right. If you, yeah. If we have time, I could look up a quick video where one of the designers explains it, but I don't know if we have time for that.
Yeah, we've got time.
We do? Okay.
At 100 watt hours per mile, is that about 15, maybe 18 miles added per hour on a regular house outlet?
That I couldn't tell you offhand. I don't want to lie to you. So.
I don't know if I asked this question out. Who's your target market? Is it like young people living in apartments, or is it retirees? And a second question, are you planning on going with autonomous modes where it could serve like Uber duty?
Yes, they do plan in the long run to do that. And basically they're building in the infrastructure into it. By the way, I don't know if you can see. No. But yeah, there's a lot of possibilities that they're working on, which nobody's told me about. Let me see if this is it. I know. Yeah, there's one that Steve Fambro did that kind of explains out, you know, basically spells out what it is, how we get the mileage. let me see if this one has what. Do we need to share again? Oh, yeah, skip it.
Yeah, my question regarding the solar is, say you're pointing south and the sun's in the east sky. Obviously, the panels on the east side will produce more power, more because of being orthogonal or at right angles to the sun.
Mhm.
And whether they, typical solar panel, all the cells are in series and the same amperes has to go through all. It's the least performing cell that determines paces the pack, so to speak.
Mhm.
Or, I'm sorry, not the pack, that's batteries, but paces the panel. So I'm wondering whether, like in Solar Edge, where they, you mentioned algorithm, they may have some algorithm that manipulates the IV curve to where they, I don't know how it's done, but it is of curiosity that, you may have more sun on one side of the vehicle than the other.
Yeah, that's the best that I can tell you is that it has to do with the algorithm. Like I said, the best to my understanding is it's still in the process of being worked out. They have the idea of this is the concept, and they're still trying to make the product live up to the concept. Yeah, I don't know if this is the right
Great
one.
longevity and long-term performance. This vehicle here, Soul, is a front-wheel drive vehicle. It has a motor in each of the front wheels, two-wheel drive. It is fast enough to do 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds. Our other vehicle, Alpha 1 Noir, is an all-wheel drive with a motor in every wheel, and it does 0 to 60 in about 3.5 seconds. One of the interesting things about Aptera is that it's a solar electric vehicle. It has solar panels on the hood, the dash, the roof, and the rear, and it produces a peak power of about 700 watts. Over the period of a day, that's enough to drive people over 40 miles, I think 46 miles in some locations. That's one of the key differentiators of Aptera and versus a regular vehicle, electric vehicle. Another key differentiator in the Aptera solar electric vehicle is its composite body structure. It's lighter and stronger than steel and very durable. One of the things people ask about a lot is the interior. As you can see, it's actually quite roomy on the inside. Most people are not expecting that. They're expecting a small space, but this is quite comfortable and quite large. One of the changes that we're doing for Beta is we're moving this whole section out about 50 millimeters, about 2 inches. And we're dropping the seat another inch, inch and a half, and the structure below it as well. So that's going to be easier to get in and out, but it's also going to give tall guys and gals a lot more headroom and a lot more comfort. This interior is Coast, and it has the blue stitching to remind us of our California roots. The Aptera has a lot of cargo space. In production, there's a small flap that connects here in the seat and extends the floor, so when you're camping, you can really stretch out a long distance. There's also enough room to put your band equipment, groceries, or anything else for that matter, maybe a golden doodle.
That one is also
Another interesting feature in the Aptera is
telling you about. So let me just pull that up real quick here. It explains how. Okay, let me just pull up the right one. I know I found the one that I was looking for. There we go.
Shop Rakuten's Big Give Week. Get 15% cash back on fashion trends and backyard wins, floats and raincoats, thrills and...
a lot of people have asked, how does Aptera get 40 miles per day just from the sun? Well, here's how. First, you have to have a child's version of a sun. The Aptera, I'm an engineer and I'm an artist. The solar panels on the Aptera produce about 700 watts peak power. Now, over the period of a day, it'll generate about 4,000 watt hours. But because the Aptera is so efficient, it only uses about 100 watt hours per mile. And crossing out the units, we're left with miles, and so you see the answer is 40 miles. Now, that's just solar range. Some Apteras can go up to 1,000 miles. But because the Aptera is so efficient, and because it only uses 100 watt hours per mile, its panels can provide enough energy, 4 kilowatt hours, to drive about 40 miles per day. So if you want to see how much free power you can get from your Aptera at your location, check out our solar calculator on our website at aptera.us.
I've got a question.
Sure.
Could you use this vehicle to be a solar panel for your house? Because you talk about two-way charging, two-way flow of electricity from your vehicle to your house. Could you do that?
There is talk about that they're working on that, and to make it, I guess, a inverter as well, so you can charge off of it, just like you're seeing with all these pickup trucks and so forth as well. So it's not in the initial design, but it is something that they are working into building into it. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, if not, yes, sir.
Can you plug in and get solar at the same time and just amp it up?
That is a good question. And I am not the person to answer that. I hope so, though. That would be, I know that it will charge while driving. I know that it will also do regenerative braking. So you'll be getting more energy from the brakes themselves as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is something.
But don't all electric vehicles have some kind of regulator so it doesn't get overcharged, or I don't know. I imagine your
Right.
vehicle would have that too. So
yeah, I would think so.
to protect against surges.
Right. One of the other features that have been mentioned in previous ones, it wasn't any of these, but as far as the cooling, I think you guys might be aware that it's looking to have liquid cooling in the skin of the vehicle. So instead of having a radiator like you saw in the beta version, there'll be actually cooling through the belly.
And who's the target market?
Target market. Well, I know that as far. I would say honestly, they're judging by the people who are in the ambassadors and also in the enthusiast groups. There are a lot of retirees who are in there. There are a lot of people about my age. I would think it'd probably be less family people just because of the two-seat capability. But again, how many of us commute to work, or even if you have a family, commute to work alone, and so for a lot of people, especially if you consider that if your daily commute's about 25 miles a day for most people, and you're getting up to 40 miles an hour free charging, it's an excellent commuter vehicle as well along that line. So, all right, any other questions? If not, we'll do the drawings here real quick then.
So, you played a video showing someone sitting very comfortably in the car, and I've seen pictures of the vehicle with the kind of sort of gull wing doors and stuff. Do you have anything showing people actually getting in and out of that vehicle?
Getting in and out of it, there are some. I can tell you when I took the test drive, and again, I know you can't tell that much from home, but I'm a pretty short guy, and I had to kind of hoist myself up to get in there. I do know that in the next versions, they are increasing the headroom, and I think they were also lowering the seats so taller people could have an easier time getting in and out. But again, not being a tall person and having taken the test ride in it, I felt, if I would have made adjusted the seats and so forth, I would have felt fine with it. I think that the things that probably was most awkward is the door, because it does have wing doors that open up, but there doesn't seem to be any electrical way that closes them, or didn't even seem to have like a one of those shock pistons. So like when you're in it, it's only got a door strap, which I thought was kind of weird for a car that's this high tech. It's just like a strap that you would hold on to in a subway, and you pull the door closed with that.
Do you have one parked out here in the parking?
I wish.
What I was getting at was more like, now that you have this gull wing door open, the space you have to get into the vehicle becomes very awkward. And like, if you look around this, HEAA, a lot of the people are older. I'm a member of a different electric vehicle club, and their average age is even older. And I know a lot of other people in the exotic car community that are selling off their vehicles because they can't get in and out of them because they have exactly that kind of door.
Yeah, that is definitely an issue, because I would guess like my mother, when she would get into my car, and I just have a BMW, and she's shorter than I am, would have and she was of course elderly, had a hard time getting into it and even using the handle strap there, or but it's definitely an issue. I know it's something that they're trying to address. Like I mentioned, they know they're addressing for height, but for this, I don't know, but I can definitely pass that along. So that's a really good question. Okay, and we have Phil out there, and Steve, is that right? Anybody else out there? And Robert? Okay, I was gonna say, if you guys want to pick a number between 1 and 30, and you can be in the drawing too. Phil, you want to pick a number? I'm sorry. Yeah, we're giving what's that?
28.
28, okay. Anybody else out there?
25.
25, 28, and 25. Okay, I'm going to trust you honestly. Okay, so we're going to do the drawing right now. Okay, guys? Okay. All right. So the first number is 29. Nobody picked that, right? Okay. Next number is 16. Anybody have 16? Okay. Next number is 3. Anybody have 3? Okay. All right. So we're going to go with your choice of one of these 3 shirts. They're small. There should be a medium, a large, and a mega large. Okay. All right. All right. So 23. Does anybody have 23? No. 24. No. Okay. Let's get some more here. 12. All right. Here you go, sir. And you guys can switch shirts later if you want. And let's see, 27. Anybody have 27? No. 24? 22? 13. All right, let's do one more here. 17. 10. 10 over here, okay. And if anybody is interested, I have 3 packs of Aptera stickers up here. You're welcome to come and grab some. Thank you. So thank you all for playing. And like I said, on the cards, there's my contact information. There's the Aptera website, social media links, and then also the QR code. If you are interested in putting a deposit for one, you save $30 off the $100 deposit, and it is fully refundable. So thank you guys. I really appreciate the questions here, and the ones that I couldn't answer, I will definitely get in touch with the folks at Aptera and see if I can get you guys some answers in the future. Yes, sir. I think one version is 3 seconds. The other is about 5 seconds. I will tell you, it has a lot of oomph. So when I was taking the test ride and they floored it, yeah, you go back in your seat and it takes off pretty fast. So very stable. Yeah. It was fun. It was a fun ride. I really enjoyed riding in that. To me, it was like going to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, because it's something you've heard so much about, but you keep waiting for it. And I finally had a chance to go over there and try it. And I heard some of you guys talking about some of the other concept cars that have been talked about, like our Archimoto, and I put money down on the Elio. I don't know if you guys remember that one. And all I got was a bumper sticker and t-shirt. So, and they kept promising, making good sales pitches, but it was just like a weekly newsletter saying, gee, won't it be great when you have something like this? But there was never any progress. That's one thing that I'm impressed about with Aptera. You see the development of the vehicle. And even though because of the economy and the way things are with supply chains and so forth, they're upfront with people and saying, look, this is affecting us. We're going to have to backtrack it. The one thing that people are talking about right now is, will the price change? So far, they haven't said anything about the price changing. We won't be surprised if it does because of the current economy, but so far they haven't announced that. So I'm like number 10,000 something, and I should be hopefully getting mine in 2024. So and as soon as I do, trust me, I'll come back and show you guys. So thank you all so much for your time. Appreciate it.
All right, does anybody have any projects or like to talk or speak about anything, upcoming events?
Note there's a major EV event at the Baker Institute. Could we pull up that? I don't know where it is. There's a major EV event, I think, next week at the Baker Institute at Rice.
No. Anybody working on any kind of projects? Like to tell us your progress on it, or any EV events coming up that you'd like to share with us?
Just want to say that I had the Chevy Bolt EV battery replaced by the Chevy. It took one day. It was in the morning. They gave me a rental car or whatever for the day, and then I got it back that evening, and 8-year, 100,000 mile warranty on the battery from that day. I don't think they reprogrammed that part of it. I don't have any more extra miles. I did go 2017. Mine didn't change at all yet. Yeah, 2000.
I've got a 2020, and guess I'm on the list. I'll get it when I get it. But I noticed on mine, they said it would be like 260, and then there's a few times when I plug it in, it shows 250, but a lot of times it's showing like 220, 200 even, and so. Yeah.
When I got home and charged it, I had like 312 miles.
See?
So the yours started with a 60 kilowatt hour pack. The new pack is a 66 kilowatt hour pack. So well, 66, yeah.
Interesting.
I use no power reserve. I have from day one. I don't charge 100%. I charge 90%. No power reserve.
Yeah, that's what they were saying, that in the,
I've been doing that since day
oh,
one.
well, they were saying that especially in light of all these battery packs overheating, charge it to 90%. You could take it to the dealer, or you could do something on the computer to.
Yeah, you can take it and do a software update to limit you to 90, or you just turn on your power.
That's what I do. I just stop like 2/3. And they say don't drop it all the way down. Don't empty the capacity. I don't know. My guess is they'll probably use it for stationary battery storage. And the thing about it is that there might not be anything wrong with these on the newer vehicles, but just in case, they're just kind of covering their behinds, and so. All right, take care. All right. Anybody got any plans or any kind of projects out there in cyberspace? Okay, if anybody hasn't signed the sheets, it's still out there. Just sign your name, your email address, your telephone number if you choose to leave it. Right over here. Right here now. Okay.
Hey, Robert, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, this is Mo Sanchez. I just want to thank everyone who came to Earth Day last month. I feel like that was a good showing. A lot of good conversations, and it was nice to see some of those newer fancy cars that everyone was really excited about. And I keep talking about wanting to fix up my Zero XU, and I talked to John. Seems like I'm going to probably go ahead and buy some Nissan Leafs from Mr. Powers, and hopefully start that project soon. So if anyone's excited about that and wants to shepherd me along, I would appreciate the guidance.
Go into detail on the project with the Leaf battery? Mo, could you go into detail with the project with the Leaf battery?
There's not a lot of details. It's just that Mr. Powers, I think, has that shoe-looking car. It's like a Swedish vehicle that he's trying to rebuild for his wife. So he's bought a few damaged Leafs, and he has battery packs. From what I've seen online, those are the battery packs that fit the best inside of the Zero motorcycle cages. So I have to buy like 5 or 6 of them, and then rebuild, or I guess turn that into the new battery pack for the Zero that I have, and then start trying to figure out whether or not the BMS system is going to work with that. And hopefully that will do the trick. I don't have any tools. I live in a townhouse. So, you know, it's just being stored away right now. But I guess the next step is to get those batteries, test them, and then figure out a space to, I guess, do the swap out and then start testing the BMS system. So if anybody, again, has any ideas, suggestions, guidance, you know, I need to get this done. It's just like a project that I've been putting off for a very long time, but I would love to do that at some point.
Okay. I think I mentioned this before to some of you. If anyone's doing any kind of conversion plan, I've got plenty of books. Don't do conversions myself, but I've got the book. But just see me if you're doing a conversion, you'd like some books. Also, I've got, for people here at TXRX, I've got some little window cards that you could place, if you so choose, on the like the dash or any kind of the driver's door side that talks about the club, that leaves their website and says, hey, we're HEAA. If you want to join us, here's our website. So I've got some of those. I heard about it at a 2018 EAA meeting. It's no longer EAA anymore. It's Electric Vehicle Association, Electric Vehicle Association.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the old address will take them to the new place too. So,
Say, Mo, you may want to put that info out on Facebook and on our website too, to see if you can get some interest in your project that way.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to pay John for his time, but we'll see if he has time. But yeah, I'll go ahead and buy those batteries and then we'll go from there, I guess. But also wanted to thank everyone for showing up at Earth Day. So does anyone have any Earth Day testimonies about your evangelism, EV evangelism? I feel like, I can't remember his name, but the guy who brought the Ford Mach-E had a lot of good conversations with people. And then there was also the
Robert Powell.
No, this past year, there was another guy who brought the
Yeah.
an actual owner. And then someone brought a Rivian too.
Yeah,
and,
we had a Rivian.
Interesting. Yeah.
And that guy had a lot of conversations with people too.
Another thing is like pretty soon the Tesla Gigafactory in Austin will probably be open. We need to plan some kind of road trip. I know Colin, Dave, and I went there last year, probably in October or September of last year, and it wasn't quite open. They were still doing a lot of building and earth moving, but it's probably going to be open soon, I'd imagine. The Gigafactory in Austin.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, but we might want to just keep this in the back of our mind, maybe a road trip and go out there and take a tour. I'm sure they're offering tours.
That would be cool.
Speaking of tours, there will be a tour of a 8 square mile solar farm near El Campo in the upcoming months by HREG, Houston Renewable Energy Group. It's an hour and 15 minutes southwest of here. And this one will include batteries, which are kind of interesting.
Okay. Anybody ever anything else to share, or we might just get out of class early? So anybody share in cyberspace?
Steve has his hand up.
Yeah, hi. You had mentioned the Austin Tesla factory. I thought that was up and producing some cars at this point.
It is?
It is.
But are they offering tours or not? Do you know, or?
Don't know anything about tours.
Okay. Well, anyways, it's just something that we could think about. I can do some research and see if they're open, and yeah, who knows?
Yeah, tour of the factory would be great if we could, do a group tour.
Yeah, and we're their biggest fans. We're their biggest marketing arm. So they say they don't have a marketing arm. That's false. It's us. But anyways, it's just an idea. Anything else? And then you say that Drive Electric Week is in September. So is that correct? National Drive Electric Week.
I'm just standing here. I don't really know.
Okay,
anything.
well, it's a little ways away, but still, it's like the summer will go. Your birthday's in September sometime. Well, September will be here before we know it, and hopefully they'll have it at IKEA. Last time it was at Bel Air Elementary, and which was good. I'm not knocking it. They nothing against them, but IKEA would be better in terms of the crowd and evangelization of the vehicles.
Well, what was it? 3 or 4 years ago, we had 2 or 3 going, or we had 3 or 4 going. That's what.
Yeah, different regions of Houston was. So.
I've got a question for the group.
Go ahead.
This is Steve. Is anybody going out to San Diego for the fully charged thing in September?
I wasn't planning on it. We could put it up on the Facebook. If you have information, send it to me, and then I'll put it up on Facebook and plant the idea.
Okay.
Yeah, see if you can get somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah, were you looking to go with some travel partners or what? Or?
Well, I've got one guy I'm going with. I was just wondering if anybody else in the club was planning on going.
I didn't even know about it, but who knows?
Yes, it's basically the same thing that they had in Austin, kind of just pre-COVID there. The February before COVID started, they had the fully charged live in Austin at the Circuit of the Americas.
You say San Diego because I know Regine Fellows. She's one of the officers of Plug in America. She lives in San Diego. She gave a talk one time, one as the president of Plug in America and the other as the president of the San Diego chapter of HEAA. So. All right. Nothing else. And if anybody has any ideas for the next meeting, if you want to give a talk or got a project or you know somebody, feel free to reach out to people in the industry or in academia, or have them come and talk. I'm trying to get something done with Tesla. They have a showroom on Westheimer, and communicating with the manager there for a little bit, and then I haven't heard back from him for a while, so I might just send him an email, and hopefully we can maybe do something there at their facility. We did it a few years back in the Woodlands, the Tesla Center in the Woodlands. So they had a private event for us. They even catered us some lunch. So if you feed them, they will come. Anything else? Or well, I vote to adjourn if everybody concurs. Yeah. Okay. If not, hold your peace. Forever hold your peace. All right. Great meeting. We've found out more about Aptera and what they're up to. And so it just seems like there's every day, if you go to our Facebook page, there's just something new coming on the horizon. Land, air, sea, alternative energy. There was even an article about gravity powered energy, that some places are good for sun, for hydro, for wind. Every place has gravity. So that might be a big thing coming up. So very exciting times that we're living in, automotive and energy revolution. And so, all right, I vote to adjourn.